Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are here for a final thoughts, not just on Destiny 2, not just this year, but just more in the situation of Bungie and my thoughts on the final shape going forward. Obviously, we have less than 24 hours for the final shape. A lot of people are hyped and excited and ready to go. And I think this is like the perfect opportunity to kind of get my thoughts out there, right? I have nothing else better to do. We have to wait till Tuesday reset anyways for the big launch. So I think for me, a big starting point is just looking back to where it all started. And for me, it's got to be Halo. I remember being in Halo, playing Halo back in like middle school, playing Combat Evolved. That was such a hype experience, playing and being a part of that world. I had my own Xbox and I would spend hours and hours playing the campaign, and I was really good at it. Like, honestly, a lot of people say, oh, I'm the best. For a kid that didn't have any friends and was with his dad and sister for like the longest time, I got really good at it. So I really lost myself in the world of Halo. Then Halo 2 came out, and I moved back with my mom and my sisters, and I went to high school. I was in a new place. I didn't really have friends. And I remember being on the bus one day and I happened to see a magazine with some Halo on it. I was like, wait, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's just like secret skull locations. I don't even know where you would find these. And I was like, I know where that's at. I know exactly where that skull is. He's like, what? Yeah, let me see that. And so I was like, okay, I can find this. I know where that's at. Oh, I can totally do this. And I found out that he lived down the street. He's like, yeah, come on, dude. Come down to my house. So we'd hang out. We'd spend hours looking up for the hidden skulls. We would do glitches. We'd do all these little cheesy things. I remember getting the Scarab gun on the highway mission in Halo 2 and just going around blowing things up. Dude, we spent hours trying to get that Banshee through the tunnel. If you know, you know, right? You're a legend, you know. And I remember doing that, and that's how I met my best friend. Halo 3 comes out. I'm still like at the end of high school. I'm at my first job at Walmart. I get my first paycheck and I blow it on a 360 and I buy Halo 3. And my mom is pissed. I don't care. That is some of the best experience I've ever had. Fantastic story. Great multiplayer. Overall, the journey from end to conclusion. And for me, Halo 1 through 3 is the end of the Halo series. Everything else is whatever to me. But that story, that journey from Bungie was so memorable. And so when they left and they made Destiny, I wanted to give it a shot. I believe I know I played the beta. I don't know if I played the alpha, but I definitely did play beta. And I'm going to be honest, I was not impressed at first. I remember playing Big Team Battle, or their version of it back in D1. I was like, this is not Halo. I don't like this. And so I played it when it first came out. I beat the story. I stopped playing. I never did VOG when it first came out. It wasn't like a year later that I got back into Destiny. In fact, I skipped 2 whatever years it was until the Taken King came out. And I came back on PlayStation. And I went through all the DLC. I went through everything. I experienced every little bit that had come out before that, all the way up to the months before the Taken King came out. And then I binged Destiny non-freaking stop. Destiny, I was back, baby. And then the Rise of Iron came up. I can still remember the experience of Rise of Iron. The servers were not working. I waited. I literally had to work the next morning from midnight launch. Back when they did midnight launches, like who remembers that? Midnight launch. And I waited and waited and waited. And it wasn't until like almost an hour or two before work that I was able to get in and play the first 2 missions. And then I went to work half asleep because I literally stood up the entire night because I was supposed to go to bed after beating the campaign. I was supposed to go to bed, get a couple hours of sleep, then go to work. Instead, I stayed up the entire time and didn't get any sleep. And then I came back after work, beat the story, and I was getting ready for the raid, Wrath of the Machines. Bungie has had a history of flops. Like, I can remember that was a flop, right? The server, that was such a bad situation for Bungie. Then all the long breaks in between expansions and DLC, that was a bad situation. In fact, it was that situation that kind of made people turned off from Destiny. And then Destiny 2 comes out. And they literally, if there was ever a time that Bungie almost killed Destiny, that was it. That was absolutely it. That they nearly killed the game. They nearly killed the game. We're going to do some Season of the Wish gameplay in the background while we do this. They nearly killed the game. Double primaries. And heavy. That was it. Double primaries and a heavy. And a lot of them were like snipers and fusions and shotguns. All were heavy. And it was like, what is this game that we are playing? It was very obvious they tried to turn it into Halo-esque. To try to make it more like MLG, esports. It nearly killed the game. Everything that people loved about Destiny was out the door and almost killed the game. Then we had these droughts. Still Destiny 1, it felt like droughts, or not Destiny 1, still Destiny 2. Felt like it felt bad, right? The whole experience felt bad in Destiny 2 at launch. It wasn't until they brought the Whisper mission and people were like, okay, this is good, right? We're excited. And Forsaken came out and it popped off. It hit everything. It was the highest high we've ever had in Destiny history. Even the Taken King was pretty high. Forsaken set a new bar. And then Bungie stepped away from Activision. And then we got Shadowkeep, the biggest letdown. And we got Beyond Light, which was slightly an improvement, but we were still not hitting the highs that we were used to. And there was more scummy practices coming from Bungie, more microtransactions, more stupid things like the cosmetic changes. Like you can now do transmog, but now you're limited on how much you can transmog every season. But hey, you can pay money now to transmog, even though every single game that I can think of that has transmog, it's free. Like even like Diablo it's free transmog. But Bungie, that was the direction Bungie was going. The experience that we had in Halo was being destroyed. The community based, like I remember being Bungie very community for the player, by the player, and now it's slowly becoming for the company by the suits, right? And that's what Destiny has over the years been coming. They've moved away. In Destiny 1, they used to do live streams, actually like sitting on a couch, playing, showing off gameplay, having a good time. And then Destiny 2 has been nothing but we're doing pre-made trailers and pre-made scene, DCV, whatever. Like the Vidocs pre-recorded. Nothing about anything was actually there. It felt shallow. It felt like they didn't care. We've been along this journey with Bungie. At least I have since Halo. Others have been around since Myth. It's like reading a good book and then suddenly the chapters start getting bad. But you want to see the end. You want to know the end of the story. You want to know, even though you're being betrayed by the author, you're like, what is this garbage? But you want to see how it ends because you've been along for the journey for so long. You want to see the end. And for many, that's like the final shape. For many, they're going to watch this. They're going to play it. They're going to do whatever for the final shape. And then they're done. Destiny's going to be written off their books. Destiny is no longer going to be the game for them. And it's very understandable, very valid. I think it's warranted, and I think it's valid. I think if you want to play Destiny, the final shape, to get the taste of it, to get the last piece of the story and be done and close that chapter in your life, you have every right. I think anyone who makes fun of you saying, I'm done with Destiny, you know what? They're a clown. But if you want to continue to play Destiny, you know what? That's your choice as well. And I'm not like very supportive of that right now, mostly because we don't even know what the final shape's going to look like. You know, for many, it doesn't matter. It could be the best story. It could be the best expansion we've had yet. It could be tiers above Forsaken, which that's a lot of bars to set. But Bungie even said themselves they want to do more than they don't want Forsaken to be the only the point. They want to go above that, which is a lot to do. We will see if they can do it. I don't know if they can do it, but skepticism, and I think anyone who's skeptical of the final shape has every right. And I think it's very logical to be skeptical of Bungie and whatever they pump out. I personally have spent so many years, like 6+ years playing this game. I've invested time, which is the most valuable asset you could ever want and or need. I've spent so much time with this game. I do want to at least see how the story ends. I do want Destiny to succeed. I talk about how I don't want to be a Destiny 2 content creator. That's mostly because I know how there's a little bad blood between me and Bungie, right? The company that I've literally almost grew up with, right? A game company that I played their games. I've supported them. I've cheered for them on, and they have betrayed me. They've betrayed the company multiple times. And it's so disappointing that some of the best content that Bungie can make is when a fire is lit under their butt. And that's the reality. Some of the best Destiny content has come from them being pushed into a corner. But when they're not pushed in a corner, we get lackluster content, lackluster story. We get more microtransactions that look better than 90% of the things in the game that you can earn, even if it's a hard encounter or a hard, like a master raid or anything like that. Like, you can get better gear or looking gear as ornaments than you can actually earned in the game. And that's been a common theme with Bungie, doing all these crossovers. In fact, it was leaked, and here's a small leak for you that isn't actually a leak. It's just more of a statement because it's very obviously going to be opinion based. But the final shape raid armor looks worse than the Dungeons and Dragons ornament set. It seems like there was more care and effort put into a separate package that you pay for than the actual final shape expansion that you pay for. Like, to me, that screams that they have not truly changed. That the corporate is still there. And I get they gotta make money, but the problem is they don't do one for one. If they put good effort into the game that you already pay for, but they also put good effort on the side things that they want you to buy too. And that's where Bungie has been going. It's where it's more, the best stuff is in the shop and not in the game itself that's earnable. And it's not even like the stuff in the shop is bright dust, so you can earn bright dust and then buy it. Like Warframe, you can buy everything, almost 99% of things in their shop by playing the game. Will it take you some time to do that? Absolutely, but that's still meeting player retention. And Bungie doesn't understand that. And they probably never will, because they will refuse to do that monetizing method. Also, Warframe is also truly free to play, whereas Destiny is not. And it's greedy in the sense that it's trying to double dip and sometimes triple dip. But outside of all that, I think a lot of people, the final shape was the nail in the coffin, because not only did they have to pay for it, but the content, the story was all garbage. It was absolute garbage. And so people felt like they were robbed. They were lied to. They were deceived. It was broadcast as this is the Infinity War of Destiny, and it was more of the Infinity flop. That's what it was. It was the biggest flop you ever flopped, you flopped. So I have skepticism when it comes to the final shape. However, I go back to my statement that Destiny, some of the best content comes from when Bungie's pushed into a corner. And right now, Bungie has never been more in a corner in its life. This is their last chance. We meme it like, oh, we've always said Destiny's gonna die or Destiny's dying. It actually is dying. I mean, not necessarily at this moment, but this entire year, like I said, has been the lowest retention rate and has been the lowest sales for an expansion that we've had in a long, long time. If this expansion does not succeed, if it doesn't bring in players, it does not bring in money, Bungie may cease to exist as a company and Sony may take over. We've already had people laid off, and that will probably be a continuing trend with the final shape. That will probably be a continuing trend for the final shape. So it's very, very important that Bungie puts in a lot of effort to this expansion, which does give me some hope. Look at Into the Light. Into the Light has been some of the best content we've gotten in a long, long time. Free. We got the Pantheon, which is a fantastic challenge. Really freaking fun. Look at Onslaught. The community loved it. They enjoyed it. The weapons were great. The shiny hunt was crazy, even though it was really stupid and annoying, and it should have had good drop rates in the first place. But that's not besides the point. That's a good indicator. Like, Bungie makes things grindier than they need to be instead of just being basic as is. They make things rewarding at the end of its life rather than just as its life because they want player retention. But I'm not going to go on another rant about it, but they're holding back. They're not like full committed to the players and really like making things really, really rewarding. But outside of that, Onslaught was an absolute W. Pantheon, W. The 0 Hour Whisper Bring Back, W. And it was all free. All of it. Free. I think that's such a huge, huge improvement from where we were just a couple months ago with Season of the Wish, which is nothing but reused assets. 99% of the content was reused assets. Yes, we got the coil, which was probably the best activity we had in seasons all year long. But outside of that, they reused the coil constantly. They reused Star-Crossed, which is an exotic mission, which usually is on its own thing, but then they made it a part of the seasonal track, and then they dumbed it down because it was part of the seasonal track. But everything about Season of the Wish was, do this. Well, that's already free. Go touch Mara's seat in her throne world. Well, that's also been in the game for years. All this stuff. Season of the Wish was a trend in the worst direction possible in Destiny's history. If we get that in the final shape, what we got in Season of the Wish, if we get that in the final shape, Destiny's dead. It is probably the most ridiculous, insulting, insufferable, and the biggest lie that we've ever gotten. You paid money to do reused assets. Everything in the final shape needs to be new, fresh, and I don't want to see doing the same patrol zone 5 freaking times in a mission. Everything needs to be new and fresh. The seasonal content needs to be new and fresh. The episode needs to be new and fresh, because if it's just like how seasonal content is now, then episodes are not an improvement. I want to see true change. We hear you. That shouldn't just be something on their gravestone that they have as a statement. That needs to be a reality. We hear you, so apply it. And that's my hope, is that in the final shape, they actually take everything, the good feedback they got from Into the Light, all the good graces, the live stream with devs sitting in, talking about the thing, talking to the community. Into the Light is the perfect step forward, and I hope we go for a full sprint in the final shape. If we can do that, then I do believe we will keep more players. In fact, Into the Light has done such a good job to bring hype back. And the fact that they did the launch trailer a week in advance, which is not typical recently with with Bungie. They usually do launch trailers the day of the launch, which is the stupidest crap I've ever seen in any gaming company. Like, they did no hype. They, at the beginning, Final Shape had nothing going for it. And now they really put on the gas. We've got actual live streams. We got actual gameplay videos. We actually have new exotic gameplay. We had creators who got early access and showed more gameplay, actual hands-on with them playing it, which you could argue, oh, of course it's the creators. But at least they actually showed more. That's the point. We are getting taste of it, which does make me feel better. It does excite me. It does bring hype. But as I said, I've been keeping track of some leaks, and there's a whiff of bullcrap, right? I smell it. There's turds there. I'm smelling it. I'm fearful, but I smell some turds in the background, and I hope that the good overweighs any bad that comes with it. And if it does, that's okay. I think if you have a situation where there is more good than there is bad, you can overlook it. It's okay. Because recently there's been more bad than there's been good. And that's why a lot of people are done with Destiny. But if we go here, let me go to my React section real quick. This is just a snapshot from a while ago. It's not the up-to-date, obviously, because servers are down. But here's our peak. 24 hours. We had 143K people play. Look at this trend. Look at the trend. We're going up. Look, all positive. We had a bunch of negatives, especially as we go. We have huge gain. Usually it's like this. Maybe 32K. But that's because Into the Light had brought in a lot of new players. The fact that they made some of the other expansions free and the seasonal content free. The fact that they were actually trying to get people back involved in Destiny, that brought up the numbers substantially. But are all these people returning players? No. Are all these people veterans? No. These are fresh, new people. Bungie has an opportunity to grow the community. Like I said, usually the what the number is on a consistent scale is like 32, right? We have peak players, but it fluctuates. And it's been fluctuating for the past while. See, we have a dip, and now we're going back up. We're trending upward. We were going down, but now we're trending up. In fact, I think we're trending more than what we were when the Lightfall came out. I don't remember specifically when Lightfall came out. I think it was September. But we're up high. We're trending very high. That's good for Destiny. And I'm going to say, I don't want Destiny to fail. I don't want it to fail. I don't want Destiny to die. I mean, part of me kind of does, mostly because I'm really bad at micromanaging my time, and I have 200 and something games I need to play. But that's just a more me issue. But overall, I don't want Destiny to die. I know a lot of people are like, Destiny is still in its point of its life where people don't take it seriously. People want to. It brings something magical that other games don't do. There is no other alternative to Destiny 2. Warframe is like the closest thing, but even it's on its own island. And that's why they've never really clashed with each other. But Destiny has its own uniqueness to it that nothing else has. But the gaming community sees Destiny 2 as a meme, a joke, a laugh stock. People like, oh, what, people still play that game? Kind of like how I see people in Halo, but I imagine more people play Destiny than Halo Infinite right now. But the point is people see the game Destiny in that same spectrum where they're like, oh, I can't believe you play that. Why do you waste your time? That game still exists? Why they're still running? Right? Especially when you look at other MMOs that are thriving and doing well. Then you look at Destiny and you're like, okay, I didn't even know it existed. Destiny has not picked up. People want Destiny to pick up. People want Destiny to thrive and to be the hotness. But the limitation is Bungie. Are they going to put more towards the players, or are they going to put more towards the corporate heads? Which, again, I say it time and time again. You look at other games, their CEO who plays their game or shows videos, I've never once seen Pete Parson play the game or do anything interactive with the community ever. And that speaks volumes. And yet, back in the Bungie days, everyone was involved with Halo. Everyone was involved with the community, mostly. Not so much Destiny. And I think, again, that speaks volumes. And I think for a lot of people, that is a make or break. How involved is the company with the players? I do truly believe that a lot of people will leave after the final shape. But like I said, the charts show an improvement. Not all of those people are returning veterans, returning players or veterans. Those are fresh eyes to the series. They have an opportunity to grow the community, even with the losses of people stepping away. The ball's in their court. This is their last chance. People like me who are veterans, we're not going to come back if they, they have screwed us over, betrayed us multiple times, and we've given them more graces. I'm skeptical, but I'm also a little bit more positive in the fact that, like I said, when fire's lit under their butt, they produce some gems. And so there is a higher chance than not that this will be at least Witch Queen level. I will give them that benefit of the doubt that we'll at least get Witch Queen level, but they won't advertise this as the end game and that this is going to be bigger than Forsaken. Better than Forsaken. They even talked about how they want the raid to be more than just Spire of the Stars, like how it was deemed as the hardest raid. They don't want that to be the thing. We will see. I want to give them some benefit of the doubt because, like I said, they have a track record of pushing out some of the hottest content you've seen when there is fire burning their cooch. When there is fire on their toes, they go. And we will see if they can keep that on. I'm also worried that after things, if this is a big success, they do pop off. Where does Destiny go from here? Do we continue the train or are we just going to let it die off? We have this massive expansion. We have some episodes and then that's it. That's all you get is a couple of episodes. Usually we get something. We get like a teaser of the next big thing. We get a roadmap. Usually they have 3 expansions planned ahead of time. But we're kind of in the dark. We know that they said that there's going to be more Destiny. But that could easily just be reference to episodes. The episodes are now the new thing. We could be getting Halo. We could be getting Destiny 3. It's very possible. Is it realistic? Well, in the state that Bungie's at, probably not. But if the final shape pops off and supplements them for a while, then it could be. Do I want Destiny 2? I mean, I hate vaulting content. I hate that we are at the point in the series where people who are new to the game have no idea the reason for Destiny 2 in the first place. Like the Red War is still vaulted. We don't have, and it's a really good story. It's a really good campaign, but it was never brought back. People never know who the heck Osiris is. Like, where's this old guy come from? No one will know about how we saved Saint 14 because that's been vaulted. So many good story beats have been vaulted that people will never really truly understand because they won't have experienced it. And I think that's a problem with Destiny is that it's more of a you had to be there kind of game versus I can pick it up and be part of the community at any time. People shouldn't have to go watch My Name's Bife to understand the story, to experience the story. It should just be in the game. And I truly believe as long as Destiny is in that shape, see what I did there? In that shape, I don't think it will really thrive because players want to get invested. They want to start from the beginning. And if there is no beginning, then you'll never get them to the end. And that's final. Anyways, that was my thoughts. Like I said, I want Destiny to succeed. I love Destiny. It is a game that I invested. It's like a good book. I've invested. I want to read it. But I'm going to be very skeptical about picking up the next book in the series. Especially if there's other good books out there that I could try to play instead. That's me. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. What are your final thoughts? Again, I think this year was a travesty. It was a garbage dumpster fire, but Into Light was the last grace that kind of saved this final stretch to the final shape. Outside of that, I will not miss this part of the year of Destiny. It will not be missed at all. Here's to the final shape and hoping that it does what we've always wanted a Destiny expansion to do. And let's hope it's the best expansion we have ever had. Because if it's not, then I don't see a lot of people sticking around for the final shape. As always, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe for more. Until next time, game out.